Hi. All right, how are we feeling today? Are we like quiet and like, or are we feeling? No, everybody's just relaxed. Okay, cool. Because that's part of what we're going to do today, is just kind of continue with that feeling, is make sure you guys feel still relaxed for the remainder of the day. This flow is for the workout Gale Force. It's a hero workout that's got like weighted box step ups. It's got like a lot of lower body work with calves and hamstrings, quads. And so we're gonna focus mostly there. We'll do a little bit of, upper body with chest and things. But this is a type of workout with when you do a lot of step ups, like your legs just get tired, maybe not so sore, but tired. And so here we're gonna just kind of stretch it all out. We'll use the band for a couple things. And yeah, so let's actually start on our backs today. And we'll start with the feet flat on the mat, about the width of the mat so that the knees can kind of fall in. And your shoulders are just gonna find a good spot on the mat where your arms can be long against the sides. The knees are caving in, so your lower body is just hanging out. We're going to close the eyes. We'll go through a couple rounds of breathing here just to center and kind of refine that smooth, controlled breath. Okay. So here, just gently closing the mouth and just finding a slow breath through the nose. No count or no force is needed. You just want to feel how that breath travels through the nostrils on both the inhale and exhale. Now starting to breathe a little bit longer. So as you go through your inhale, feel as though that inhale starts at the tailbone and travels all the way up to the top of the head. And on the exhale, it starts at the top of the head and goes all the way down to the tailbone. So using the visual of the tailbone to the head, head to the tailbone, to lengthen that breath a little longer. And now keeping the breath flowing through the nose, we'll just gently open the eyes and we'll start going into a little bit of movement. So now you're going to separate your knees just a bit, but keep your feet where they are. Okay? And then you're going to let your knees both fall over to the right side and just let them fall as far as they want. Don't need to push. And then bring the knees through center and then they fall over to the other side. You're going to go back and forth like this, slow, easy, 2 more times on each side. And let's see if the heaviness of the legs helps you deepen this position. Good. And once you've hit 2 more on each side, you can bring those knees back through center. And then we're going to hug them into the chest. Give them a squeeze. And then we're going to go into an easy twist. So keeping the knees together, arms out like a T, palms up. Gently let the knees fall over to the right side. And then allow yourself to just open up. Let gravity do a little work here. So you're going to feel heaviness to this position. Just kind of sink towards the floor. And bringing those knees back through center. Let's go to the other side. Let them fall to the left. And then the upper body is heavy and just drops towards the ground. Good, and bringing those knees through center. And if that strap is handy, let's go ahead and grab it wherever it might be. And we're gonna wrap it around the arch of your right foot. And then we're gonna lift your right leg up, left leg straight on the floor. We're starting with a hamstring stretch here. So what I want you to do is let your right foot be relaxed. So there's not a whole lot of tension in that foot or that ankle, so that as you start to pull against the band, you're feeling more hamstrings than you are kind of lower part of the leg. Okay. Continuing to breathe through the nose. From here, release a little bit of stretch in those hamstrings. So let that foot come away from you a little bit. And then now we flex your foot. So bring your toes towards your shin. Really feel that that calf stretch. And then if you have more room, we can gently pull that leg closer. Now you're going to feel more tension throughout the entire leg, maybe more specifically in the calf. And then let's gently bend the knee to release the foot from the band. And then let's go to the other side. So first, begin with that soft foot so that as you gently pull on the band, you're getting a little bit bigger stretch through the hamstrings on that left side. And from here, and bring that leg back away from you a little bit so that we can tense up that foot, toes to the shin. And then if you've got that space, we can walk the hands back up the band to create more tension through the whole leg. You know, often we forget about the calves. The calves can limit depth in squats and a lot of other things. And so, you know, always good to make sure that that's a part we're also stretching out. Right, gently releasing the band. And let's unhook it from the foot and this off to the side. We'll come back to it in a little bit. And we're going to place that left foot now on the floor. And then right foot will go over and above that left knee. We're going to come into a glute stretch here. So from this position, that left knee will pull towards your chest. Some of you might find threading the arms through to be able to grab the back of the left thigh is helpful. I like grabbing the right knee and the right foot, and that just gives me a little bit of leverage to be able to pull the shin towards my face, especially on those tighter days when you're sore and not as flexible as you might normally be. Keeping the right foot connected to the left knee, let's just take that left foot and bring it back down to the floor. So you still have that right foot on top of the knee, and now the left foot is on the ground. From here, both knees, like this, are going to fall over to the right side. And as you do this, you might find that that pressure of the right foot on the left knee helps you stretch out in the front of the left hip a bit more. Good inhale brings you back. And we'll switch sides. So now right foot will go flat on the floor, left foot over and above that right knee. Draw the right knee in and let's find that glute stretch. You can thread the hands through to clasp them behind the right leg, or you can grab for the left knee and the left foot and go from there. Placing that right foot back onto the mat, keeping the left foot on top of the knee. We're going to let both knees fall over to the left side. The weight of the left foot on the right knee might help it come down a little bit lower. Good. Now inhale brings you back. Unhook the leg and then bring those knees back to the chest for a little squeeze. And then we're going to just rock forward and back a couple times to come up to a seat. Shin box. Okay, so you're going to place your right shin on the floor, and then the left foot comes behind you. Okay, and so we've created, it doesn't have to be like a full, like perfect angle. We can keep it a little bit tighter. We want to try to take this left hip and reach it down just a bit. Okay, and we sit up tall here. We're going to bow over this front shin. You should feel this big, deep glute stretch. And then we bring the torso up, and then we come up onto the shin this way, and we push the hips forward. You might feel a stretch in the front of the hip this way. Might feel some tension in the other hip. And then we sit down. You can use your arm or your hands behind you, or you can do this without, but we're just going to let those knees go to the other side, up and over. Okay. And then take this right hip, anchor it down towards the ground a bit, and then we bow over that front shin. We're going to hold for a couple counts. Bring the torso up, come up onto the shin, push it forward. Sit the hips down, and then we're going to do one more on each side. So coming back to the start, I'm taking this left hip and dropping it down, going forward. Bringing the torso up onto the shin here. Back down, and then rotate. First, we anchor that right hip down, then we bow. Bring the torso up and onto the shin. We sit back down, and then we finish. Cool. All right, and so then make your way to your hands and knees any way you want to get there. Couple cat-cow. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to take our belly button and pull it down to the floor as we arch that tailbone up and that chest to the ceiling. And then we're going to press through the palms, bring the chin in as we round the upper back. Again, belly drops, chest will lift. And we round. Try to separate the shoulder blades a bit more as you round. Last one. Arch. And round. Good. And find neutral. Okay, from here, we're going to just come up onto the knees. Okay. And we're going to take this right foot and shoot it out to the right. Okay. I'm going to then inhale to just grow a little taller. My left arm goes up. Then I'm going to lean over towards that right side. And so you should feel this kind of long stretch from the lat, maybe even down into the front of the hip. I want you to keep reaching up and away to continue that length. And see if you can make it go like deeper, even down the leg more, maybe up into the armpit. And inhale brings you up. And let's go the other side. So bring that left leg out. Okay, sit up tall, reach your right arm up. We lift taller and higher, and then we lean. Right now I'm feeling a lot of tension here. We could go, it's all along this line that we're looking for a stretch and length. Good. Bring yourself up, inhale. And then we're going to go and switch back to that first side. This time we're going to go single leg child's pose. So now we're going to sit towards that left heel. And you can send that right leg out as far as it is comfortable for you to then down to the forearms. Okay, so we're looking for a little bit of an inner thigh stretch here. All right, on your next inhale, you're just going to slide yourself out of that. And then we're going to go to the other side. So sitting up tall, we're going to shoot this left leg out. Okay? And then we'll sit towards the right heel. And then you can decide if you need to take that left leg out to the left a bit more so that from there, we can go down to the forearms. And coming onto the hands, shimmy your way back. And then from here down, or from your hands and knees position, easy down dog. So we're just going to tuck the toes, send the hips up. Then we're going to pedal out those heels. We take about 10 pedals, so 5 each side, just to see if we can get those calves looser, a little more warm. Good. And then anchoring those heels down for just a bit. So try to draw the heels to the floor. At the same time, you're taking the tailbone, reaching it up towards the ceiling. All right, from here, we're going to come into a low lunge. So let's lift your right leg up a little bit, just to give it a little bit of help to swing it forward between the hands. And then bring your back knee down. Okay. From here, we lift the torso up. Okay. Let the hips relax to the floor. We're not pushing them. We're just letting ourselves find that deep range we've got today. Okay. And then from here, we lift the chest, left arm up, and then lean over to the right, very similar to that pose we did a little bit ago, so that we feel even more stretch from the hip flexors up through the armpit. Bringing the hand down. And then from here, we shoot the hips back. And you're looking for its hamstring stretch. So you might need to shimmy the heel forward a little bit. We can also kind of balance on the shin there. But we're looking for a little bit of a hamstring stretch here. One way to make this deeper without folding more is to think about making your spine a little bit flatter. So if I kind of think of an arch, I get a ton of pull without having to fold more. Good. All right. We'll bring the hands to the top of the mat, and we'll just swing this leg around to our hands and knees. And then we go back to downward dog. So tuck the toes, and we lift. This down dog should feel better than the first time we got there. Okay, second side, we're going to lift the left leg up. And we're going to bring it through between the hands. And then back knee will come down. Bring that torso up. Hips soften towards the floor. Still create a little tension here that just helps the balance, but we're looking for you to release, holding and gripping here. Okay? Right arm up. We lift and we lean to the left. Good, and let's drop that hand down. We're going to send the hips back. Shimmy this front heel forward a little bit. And then if we need a bit more without having to fold more, we just take that chest and reach it forward, trying to find more flatness through that back. Good. All right, let's bend that knee. We can place the hands flat at the top of the mat, swing the leg around. We go back to downward facing dog. Couple shoulder shrugs. Just to get the shoulders a little looser, we're going to do a big stretch coming up. All right, from here, walk the hands to the back of the mat, going into a fold. Okay, so a little soft bend in the knees. And then as you're kind of folding over the legs here, we can grab opposite elbows. We're just letting the torso hang. So part of this is allowing the lower back to soften, to feel the shoulders have dropped, the jaw is relaxed. Then you can like sway side to side if that feels good. Now release the hands and bring them to the hips, and just an easy stand all the way up. Okay, next up, neck stretch. So we're going to take our right hand, we'll place it around the lower back, and then that right shoulder is just going to drop down. Okay, from here we're going to take our opposite ear and reach it away. Okay, and while we're doing this, you should feel this kind of tension right at the side. Like you might be able to see this thick band of muscle here that is getting the stretch. If you find that you want to kind of add to this as we bring our chin down with still thinking of the opposite ear to the opposite shoulder, you'll feel the stretch roll to the back of the neck, maybe even if you get your head going forward a little bit down through the inner side of the shoulder blade. And you can also play around with bringing the neck or the chin up more, and then that brings the stretch into the front. Now more towards the jaw and the front of the neck. So keeping that left ear reaching to the left shoulder, but playing around with the angle of the chin to get into all those tiny little places that can be tight. A lot of small muscles in the neck and shoulders. Okay. Finding your neutral head position, we're going to release that side. We're going to go the other side. So left arm around, left shoulder is just kind of dropping, and then right ear to the right shoulder. Start with that neutral chin so you really feel that biggest, thickest muscle band. And then as you draw the chin gently down to the chest, feel the stretch roll back, maybe inside that left shoulder blade. And then rolling so that the chin goes up. Bring the stretch in front. Play around with that. Good. And gently come up out of that. Side note, one of the places that CrossFitters need and weightlifting athletes need to mobilize a lot is the traps and the neck. We just don't often do that. So if you're ever feeling like weird shoulder pain, or if it's like, hey, when it warms up, it feels better, get a lacrosse ball into those traps and like massage out some of the knots and even some of the tension in the neck, and that will help release a lot in that shoulder. All right, let's grab the band. We're going to go for some pass-throughs. Shandy, your dog is so cute with the little blanket on. Let's go for 5 to 7. If your shoulders are feeling pretty tight, like ease into this, and maybe we go for that higher number. You can also go some around the worlds if that feels better. Okay, so the next position we're going to come into is going to be a wide leg forward fold, and we can use the band for the shoulders. So we're going to have 2 options here. If you need the band, you'll hold it kind of like this, where your shoulder blades will be together and your palms will be facing. But if you can grab it like this, that's going to be another option of like actually clasping the hands. Okay, so let's get our feet wide, and you guys can face the wall that way or off the mat, whichever is most comfortable. Grab the band behind you. Okay. First thing we do is we roll the shoulders back and down, proud chest, and then straighten the arms. And if you need the band, cool. If you don't, then don't use the band. From here, we're going to bow, and the hands will come up and over. Soft little bend in the knee, just a tiny, tiny little bend. Part of what's happening here is we get the hamstrings, but you're also relaxing the shoulders so that the hands come up and over your head just a little more. Breathing here. All right. Gently finding your way out of this any way you'd like. Okay. And then we're just going to take that band off to the side and reset our feet. We're going to come back into a downward facing dog. Okay, so band off to the side, and any way you want to get to down dog. And next up we have pigeon. Okay, so let's start with your right knee towards your right wrist, and then that shin comes to the floor. We're going to scoot the leg back. Okay, so maybe after some of these hip stretches we've done, you're feeling like, I did not have this mobility when I started today, so I feel like I've got a little bit more room to actually like get low. If not, sit on that hip so that we can get to the forearms. That's ultimately, I want that upper body to be as relaxed as possible in this position. Close the eyes and let's just start breathing a little slower. Trying to use the exhale to help this hip soften. Every exhale, try to relax something in the body that feels tense. All right, slowly begin. Come onto the hands, if you're not there already. And then we're just going to take this back leg and bring it in. And this right foot is going to be inside of that left thigh. We're going to come into a kind of a tighter position. So bring that left heel as close to your butt as you can. Good. Okay. And then just like the beginning, we're going to have to anchor this left hip down just a bit more. It doesn't have to touch, but we do want as much even pelvis position as we can. And then hands will go behind you. And you go as far back as you want. So we can go to the forearms. Oh, do I have that today? Yep. We can also lay all the way back. I don't have that room today, but you might. And so go to the place where, you're going to feel the tension in this left quad, maybe even up into the hip crease. Okay. And lay back as far as it's comfortable. Good. Coming back up slowly. We're going to roll forward to the hands and go back to downward facing dog as our reset. Maybe pedaling out those heels for a little movement. And then we'll go left side. So left knee to the left wrist. And then shimmy that right leg back. And then decide if we can go to the forearms here or if you need to roll to the outer side of the left hip for a little less intensity. Today. And breathe. On those exhales, you're going to try to soften places that feel like you're holding tension. So maybe that's in the fingers, maybe that's in the jaw, maybe it's in the toes. Where can you release? And slowly start to bring yourself out of that. And then as we roll to the outer hip, you're going to bring this right leg in. Pull this right heel close to you, left foot to the inner thigh. Okay. And then this right hip drops down. Okay. Doesn't have to go all the way. And then from here, we just bring the hands back. This side may or may not be tighter, so you might have to do something a little different. All right. Walking yourself slowly out of that. Down dog for a quick little reset, just to keep it even. All right. And then we're going to bring those knees down. We're going to swing the feet around. And we'll lay all the way on the back. So you can grab your knees if you want to slowly go down, or you can do this, with your ab strength. But we're just going to make our way down to our back, and then our knees come to the chest. Give them a little squeeze. And then we go into happy baby. So we're going to grab the outer edges of the feet. Elbows will be inside of the knees. And then the feet will kind of stack right on top of those knees as we rock side to side. You can straighten the leg one at a time or both. Good. And releasing that and just hugging the knees back to the chest again. Final twist. So keep your right knee into your chest. Left leg extends on the floor. But you're going to want to scoot your hips over to the right a little bit before that leg fully extends. Okay? And then this right knee all the way over to the left side. Arms can go out like a T or in any position that feels good. Just like the beginning, we're feeling heavy to the floor here. We're not trying to push into the twist. We're letting gravity do more work. Good. Gently bringing the knees through center. Give them a squeeze. And then we'll go to the other side. So now the right leg will extend. We scoot the hips over to the left, and then that left leg goes all the way to the right. Once you find your position, try to settle into that. Good. And bringing yourself back through center. Knees to the chest one final time. And then just when you feel ready, we're going to extend the legs onto the mat. The arms can go wherever's comfortable alongside the waist, maybe on the belly. Get the shoulder blades down away from the ears so the neck feels long. Continue to breathe through the nose, but just let that breath flow naturally. Slowly start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Then reach the arms overhead. Full body stretch. And then you can roll to the right side for a transition. And then find your way gently to your comfortable seat. No rush. Keep the eyes closed, sitting up tall. And just take a little inventory of how you feel compared to how you felt when you first started. You know, often when we go into CrossFit or weightlifting or any kind of class with fitness, right, where we're trying to like improve and gain things, we give more and we elevate kind of our nervous system. Here, what I'm hoping you feel is the opposite of that, where you come to this and by the end, you feel like you've downshifted. And that's kind of that balance between the intensity and the recovery that we want to see. It doesn't have to be every day, but we do want to see that. So gently opening your eyes. Take a big breath through the nose. Open the mouth side out. You guys are all set for the day. Thank you so much for joining. I don't